Horror fans, brace yourselves, because Paramount's streaming service has a new fright in town, and it's called Vicious. Dakota Fanning, yes, the actress we've seen grow from child star to powerhouse performer, takes center stage in this latest psychological horror. But don't expect a straightforward story or sympathetic characters. Vicious is the kind of film that dares to leave you unsettled, disoriented, and sometimes frustrated. Brian Bertino, the mind behind The Strangers, returns with his signature detached approach to horror, where tension and fear aren't always justified by logic. In Vicious, Fanning plays Polly, a depressed young woman plagued by hallucinations, caught in a horror endurance test that doesn't offer clear explanations or traditional payoffs. It's a minimalist setup, but one that relies almost entirely on Dakota Fanning's emotional intensity to carry the film, making it both compelling and exhausting to watch. What makes Vicious so unsettling isn't just the hallucinations or the terror itself. It's the way Bertino refuses to hand the audience any easy answers. Unlike traditional horror films that guide viewers through clear stakes or sympathetic characters, this film leaves you adrift, watching Polly navigate her psychological torment with little context. Dakota Fanning carries the weight of this narrative entirely on her shoulders, screaming, trembling, and sometimes just sitting in silence as her world unravels. Her performance is fearless, showing a range that stretches from raw vulnerability to piercing panic. You can't look away, even when the film's logic seems deliberately slippery. Bertino's approach is bold, yes, but it's also punishing. Viewers may find themselves exhausted, both by the narrative ambiguity and by the intensity of Fanning's unrelenting emotional display. The film's minimalist setup is part of its charm and its challenge. There are no elaborate backstories, no neatly explained motivations, and very few supporting characters to provide context or relief. Polly's suffering is presented in raw, unfiltered bursts, and the audience is forced to witness it without the usual cinematic crutches. Bertino's direction leans heavily on atmosphere, shadowy corners, unsettling sound design, and moments that blur the line between hallucination and reality. The scares are often subtle, psychological, and lingering rather than explosive, which will delight fans of slow-burn horror, but may frustrate viewers expecting more conventional thrills. Watching Polly navigate this relentless psychological assault is like enduring a storm with no clear end in sight. And Dakota Fanning's performance ensures that even when the plot feels intangible, the emotional stakes feel very real and deeply affecting. One of the most striking aspects of Vicious is how it treats its audience. Bertino doesn't guide you with comfort or explanation. Instead, he puts you directly in Polly's shoes. You feel her disorientation, fear, and isolation as if you were trapped alongside her. This approach can be exhilarating for viewers who crave a psychological challenge, but it's also exhausting. There's a bravery in refusing to spoon-feed meaning, yet it comes at a cost. The story can feel slippery, and the film occasionally drifts toward ambiguity for ambiguity's sake. Dakota Fanning, however, anchors every scene with raw emotion. Her portrayal of a woman unraveling under immense psychological pressure is nothing short of mesmerizing. Every scream, every quivering look, every moment of near collapse keeps you tethered to the screen, even when the narrative itself threatens to slip away into abstraction. While the film's story is sparse and its logic slippery, there's a certain fearlessness to Bertino's approach. He doesn't try to explain every hallucination or justify Polly's suffering with easy answers. Instead, the horror is presented as relentless, almost clinical in its observation of human vulnerability. The chamber piece style, a single protagonist largely isolated, puts the audience directly in the eye of the storm. forcing us to feel the tension without relief. Dakota Fanning's performance is the linchpin here, and she delivers it with precision and courage. Her screams, her silent terror, and the way she inhabits Polly's crumbling mental state elevate what could have been an abstract or inaccessible experiment into something viscerally affecting. Even if viewers leave with questions, they can't deny the sheer emotional weight carried on Fanning's shoulders. The film's stripped-down horror and psychological focus make it feel different from Bertino's previous works like The Strangers. There are no masked intruders or external villains to blame, just Polly and the unfolding chaos in her mind. This inward focus creates a claustrophobic atmosphere that's both compelling and unsettling. Every sound, shadow, and flicker on screen becomes a potential threat, and the audience is left questioning what is real and what is imagined. It's a risky approach, and one that will divide viewers. Fans of traditional horror may find the lack of clear plot or resolution frustrating, while others will appreciate the daring, experimental style. The success of this method rests entirely on Fanning's ability to carry the film, and she does so with remarkable skill, keeping viewers engaged even when the narrative feels intentionally slippery. Another striking element of Vicious is how it balances intensity with restraint. Bertino doesn't rely on jump scares or gore to provoke fear. Instead, the horror comes from the sustained tension and unpredictability of Polly's experience. Each scene builds on the last, layering unease and psychological strain in a way that is both immersive and exhausting. Dakota Fanning's performance is the key to this delicate balance. Her ability to portray sheer terror, vulnerability, and quiet moments of despair creates a rhythm that keeps the audience invested. Even as the film's story remains deliberately opaque, Fanning ensures that every second feels purposeful. This approach makes Vicious a unique entry in modern horror, a film that challenges viewers to confront fear in a raw, personal, and often uncomfortable way. In conclusion, Vicious is not your typical horror movie. It's a stripped-down, psychological chamber piece that tests both its protagonist and its audience. Dakota Fanning delivers a fearless, emotionally charged performance that anchors the film, making it compelling even when the narrative itself remains elusive. Brian Bertino's decision to forego traditional explanations or sympathetic framing creates a relentless, immersive experience. But it's one that will leave some viewers questioning what they just saw. The film's strength lies in its daring and in Fanning's ability to carry every moment of terror, confusion, and despair. For horror fans willing to embrace ambiguity and psychological intensity, Vicious offers a bold, unforgettable ride that lingers long after the credits roll.